The older I get, here is the number one thing I prioritize: protecting my energy, protecting your energy. It is the most important investment you've ever made. Now, energy is how you show up in the morning, it's how you use your time, it's how you connect with people. If your energy is drained, you cannot achieve anything. If your energy is sucked out of you, you're not the best version of yourself. And if your energy is being poured out of you, you do not have the ability to make impact at all. So many of you want to be incredible and amazing entrepreneurs, founders. So many of you want to build the right relationships, but all of those require energy. And it's not just about how much flow you have, it's about the frequency that you vibrate on. What is like trapped into your life, the kind of people you surround yourself. Have you noticed that some people leave you feeling folded and other people leave you, feeling flat, and there are people that give you energy. You can start the day feeling okay, and after a call, a quick catch up, you just feel out of the world, like somebody disconnected your spirit. That's your energy being taken, wasted, or exploited. Today, I want to talk to you about how to protect your energy so that your energy is never wasted or exploited by anyone, and that you're not building walls, but learning how to manage your light. Because not everyone who wants your energy deserves it. Part one, here's something I've learned. Every conversation is an investment. And just like money, if you spend without awareness, you end up emotionally broke. Now, there are two types of people in your life. They're energy investors and they're energy thieves. Energy investors leave you better. They give as much as they take. You become inspired, you become lighter, while energy thieves, on the other hand, they leave you heavy, confused, and drained. And here's the trend: they don't always mean to. Sometimes they don't even have energy themselves. And if you don't have boundary, they are subconsciously dragging you like a charger. So pause for a moment and think, who in your life leaves you lighter and who leaves you heavier? That's your body's wisdom speaking. It's amazing how our body and mind tells us how we feel sometimes. You can finish having lunch with someone and you'll be wondering why they're just gossiping the whole time and speaking negatively. And you spend time with somebody else and you're feeling so inspired, so fired up. And you talk to somebody else and you're feeling guilty and shameful that you're an entrepreneur or you have a side hustle or business. Your body and your mind are constantly talking to you. They're constantly feeling data and signals. But what happens is that life is so busy that we don't have the time to process these signals to actually know what to do, which is why we revisit the same people in the same place again and again. I want you to really focus in for the next 24 hours, and then the next 48, and then the next 72. Finding out, after you meet this person, after you've had this conversation with this person, what was the feedback? Who is an energy thief and who is an energy investor? And here's why you need to be careful about this. If someone is stealing your energy, you need to know that the person isn't doing it intentionally. They don't just know how to deal with energy themselves. They don't know how to manage that frequency. They're not bad people. They are just someone that made you to listen to this video. In life, there are energy givers and energy takers. There are people who make you feel safe being yourself. And there are people who make you question yourself. Energy takers listen to reply. But you see those people, energy givers, listen to reply. But energy takers, they're like selfish people. They only cheer when it involves them. They drain your motivation. Energy givers will recharge you with honesty in these conversations that you're having with them. And you see energy takers, it will end up in drama. So I want you to pause for a minute and find out and reflect who you've been communicating with, who you've been mingling with, energy takers or energy givers. Energy givers respect your boundaries, while energy takers, they text them and call you difficult when you hold them. So I wanted to give you that list, so you have them in your mind. Know who energy takers and givers in your life are. And number two, be an energy giver and not an energy taker. Part two, here are some subtle ways people drain you. And sometimes it happens so fast that you don't even recognize it. And it can take months, years, 10 years for you to recognize that this person has never been filling me up. They are the people I call the emotional dumpers. Every conversation is about their chaos, their crisis, their problems, their stress. And when you try to give feedback, it circles back to them. It's never about you. When they don't have the capacity to think of life beyond themselves, you need to observe and know that those people are energy takers. Because they are so lost in their own world that all they want to do is bring back something else, still about them. They're looking for validation. They're looking for reassurance. They're looking for support. They're looking for help for themselves. And it's subtle. Because in the beginning, you might think you're helping. You might think you're fixing it. You might like them. You are the fixer. But it takes lots of times to, recognize and recall and come to the full knowing that you've been trying to be the healer. And these people only want to be healed. They don't care about your own healing. And there's the people I call the chronic taker. You help them move on. You were there for them during breakups. You were everywhere for them. But when you need them, they have a different priority. It's not that they're taking advantage of you. They just ride over who you want to be. So it can be your responsibility to recognize that you've been trying to be the healer. They want to be healed. But in reality, neither of you would win it. The people I call the deep takers. You help them move, listen through breakups, you give them advice, but when you need something, they're busy. They've got a different priority. Now, this one is very heartbreaking because you put your heart on the line, you went out of your way for that person, you did things for them when it wasn't convenient for you, and when you needed one small thing, they don't have any time. It is so heartbreaking that it's important to notice. Now, I'm not saying that every relationship that you have turns into a transactional analysis. I'm not asking you to keep score or keep beef with them. I'm asking you to pause, check with yourself. If you keep giving without receiving from these people, it has to be a balance. It's going to wear away and tire out the relationship that you are trying to build. Now, the third one, that people drain your energy. There's what we call the boundary testers. Pay attention to this one. They might say something like, it would only take a second. They push. But you've trained them that your time is flexible. This one is huge for me, right? They make it sound like their request is so small, but in fact, they're just testing your boundaries. They just want to test you. You can tell them that, I can do that. I have something. And they message you and say, what about Friday morning? Just 2 minutes. And you know the funny thing? It's going to be more than 2 minutes. They push your boundaries. If you've had the courage to state your boundaries to a friend or person in your life, and they use that boundary against you or believe that it is flexible, they're draining your energy. If you say to someone, I can't make it this weekend, and they say, what about Sunday morning? They do not value your boundaries. If you say to someone, I would like to keep it private, and they say, can I call my friends? Just 3, just 2. They don't like you. If you said to someone, I like to keep it private, they would say, can I bring 2 friends, 3 friends? If you have the courage to state how you feel and they see it as flexible, you have to recognize that as draining your energy. Once again, pause, because it's hard. Now, the fourth way that people drain your energy, I call it the compliment parasite. They admire you, but it's conditional. They celebrate your wins, but it's like a transaction. All of a sudden, you find someone that you love, you're in a relationship, and you get this person, you get the aggressive version of them. You get a promotional award, they can't handle it. You made a move outside of work, they can't deal with it. You moved in with your partner, they've got something to say. They always have an opinion anytime you have some good news to share. Because even when you have this good news to share, you are always scared of sharing it with them. You can't share a joy that's happening in your life with that friend because they might feel agitated or uncomfortable about it. You're not that close. You are not that close if you cannot share your wins with somebody. You think you're close to someone when you can tell them about a bad day and a good day, and they know how to balance it. Someone who is there for you when you're losing is a great friend. Someone who can celebrate you when they're losing and you're winning is a phenomenal friend. And number 5, in the subtle way that people drain your energy, I call them the environmental friend, the situationship friend. They show up when there's joy, they disappear when there's nothing. Sometimes the people who take the most energy are the ones who smile at you the most. And that doesn't make you bad. It just meant that you have to get better at choosing where to push your energy to. Because some persons don't need to drain you, they just haven't learned how to fuel themselves. Part 3, the inner licks. Now let's turn this whole thing around. Sometimes it's not them draining you, it's you draining yourself. You overgive because you're scared of losing love. You say yes to everything because you do not want to disappoint. You stay silent, but you feel being labeled difficult. You feel exhausted with productivity. You mistake being busy for being valuable. You confuse being available for being prime. You mistake being available for being good. You mistake being selfless for being loved. Now ask yourself this. Which part of you believes love must be earned to be exhausted? When you start seeing your own leaks, you realize protecting your energy isn't even about cutting people off. It's about stopping yourself the trail. It's about cutting that thing out from yourself. So many of us feel our energy is being exploited, is being drained, it's being used, but in reality, we are the ones allowing access. If every time you get home, someone is already in your house because you told them where the key was in, it's your responsibility. If someone expects you to be there for them because you always change your plans to show up, it was your responsibility. People will only take advantage of you to the extent you allow them access to you. Now, if you're always available, anytime Charles, Dick, and Harry call you, you're available. People will take advantage of that. If you're always around and flexible to show that you are nice, to show that you are available, people will take advantage of you. It's not service. People may like you because you're always available, but people will respect you when access to you is protected. When you have boundaries, when you know who you are, when you know what your priorities are, when you set them straight, when you know what you can and you can't do. If you're scared to say no to a friend because you feel you're going to be hurt or upset, chances are that you're not actually that close to them. Because if you're close, you will know. You know that your no should be understood as, I really can't do this. Not like that I don't care, but I can't do it right now. Part 4, how to protect your energy without becoming cold. Now let's get practical here. I think it's really hard to say no without feeling like you're coming at a crossroad. It's hard to set a boundary without feeling like you're more important. It's hard to set priority without making the other person feel insignificant. So here's what I used. I called it the triangle rule. Number 1, physical boundaries, space and time. Who gets your mornings? Who gets your noons? Who gets your nights? Delayed replies is self-care. It's like protection, not isolation. If you know what times and days, I remember I had a friend sometime in Benin Republic, and I told him and I said, weekends are really for myself. I love spending time with myself during the weekends, doing what I love to do, recording videos, and she was like, weekends, that we have to come out and shoot skis for us. And I was like, number two, emotional boundaries. Stop absorbing moods that are not yours. So because someone's anxious doesn't mean that you have to inherit anxiety. You can show compassion without carrying the entire chaos on you. Sometime I had someone who used to text me like everything was an emergency. You can just see the text and you'd be like, In between work, you can see something like, it's urgent. Please, can you help me? It's every time. It's not like I do not care. I care, but if you rush into it with the way it is, you are draining your energy. Sometimes I tell them, okay, I've got time in 3 days. I've got time in like 1 week. I've got time by 24 hours. I'm trying to preserve my energy. All of a sudden, I'm able to protect my emotional boundaries. Number 3, energetic boundaries. Now, this is the quiet spiritual layer. Prayer to God, meditation, stillness. We underestimate the power of being still. Do you know what it feels like to wait on God for 3 years and hear nothing? Yes, and hear nothing. Stillness. Some of us like to rush into things. We just say, okay, I want to open the fashion brand. Let's get the graphic designer. Design this and I want it in the next 24 hours. Speed. Stillness. I have a prayer practice that allows me to concentrate on myself, and I have a morning meditation practice that allows my brain to focus. There is something much bigger than me. God is. And if I can be connected to that, I can be held and helped. Here are a few practical tips that would help you. If you drag replying, you're probably overextending. When you're overthinking a text, when you're overwhelmed by someone's response, it shows that there's something about that relationship that doesn't have the right energy. Because if someone's really in your life for the right reasons, you cannot feel that tension. You recognize that there is something that needs to be clarified in this relationship, or distance is probably better. The next step is called the energy holding. Each week, write down like what gives and what drains. Check the pattern. Check what it is. Take out what gives. Take out what takes. Take in what gives. I perform well when I'm at my best energy. I want to have the capacity and not be selective. I can work at events. I can do that at events. That doesn't drain me. Number 3, the 24-hour rule. Don't say yes right away. Buy yourself some time to check your energy. Sometimes our energy is so high. If you want to stop draining your energy, try this. If someone asks you, can you do this? Check your calendar, but check your energy. Check your energy. You're checking your calendar, you're checking your time. Check your energy. Do you want to show up there 15%? Do you want to show up there 30%? Do you want to show up there 60%? Or do you want to be like a full 100% of energy? Remember that boundaries are rejection. They're clarity. They tell others where you end and they have to begin, because your peace is not up for negotiation. And if someone sees your clarity as rejection, that says more about them than it does about you. Boundaries do not mean that you do not care. They mean that you finally care about yourself. They don't make you selfish. They make you self-respected. Now, these boundaries don't make you hard to love. They make you harder to manipulate. And they don't control others. They remind you that you can only control yourself. Part 5, reclaiming your light. So here's the truth. You can be compassionate and still have boundaries. You can be loving and still say no. You can care deeply and still protect your peace, because your energy is sacred and the world doesn't need more drained, depicted, overgiven people. It needs people who are alive and aligned and raised from the dust. Take a deep breath. Breathe an energy that nourishes you. Breathe out any energy that depletes you. You don't owe anyone your burnout. You owe yourself your peace. I think it's so important for us to realize that when you give people your leftovers, the crumbs, you would not be able to give your best in it. And that is when you feel inadequate and they don't feel good either. If I'm exhausted and I can't make it to an event tomorrow night and I don't go, I've just saved someone from having to do with my fatigue, with my attitude. And if someone is actually very important, I can actually prepare my energy, because there are kinds of places that I go to with 50% of my energy because I know that that's all I'm required. And that's okay. That's okay because I know what it requires. So it's really very important that you create rules, structures, systems, because when you get tired, when you get annoyed, that's how you protect yourself. So because I know I only do content creation, I record, I do guest curation, I know how to divide my energy. I know when it's 60, I know when it's 40, I know when it's 30, I know when it's 5, I know when it's 0. It's so important to also know that your priorities can shift in seasons. There might be a season when it's all about going out. There might be a season when it's all about staying in, it's all about locking in. There may be a season when it's all about breakthrough. There may be a season when it's all about grieving. It's up to you to define the season and the priorities that come with that season, not keep running behind everyone else's priorities. You can say yes to some things. You can say no to some things. You let yourself down, you let them down because you're drained and you feel upset and you say, I came out even when I was tired. And you're even still upset with me. I shouldn't have come out at all. But you should have protected your energy. Stop thinking that saying no is you being mean. Stop thinking that you saying no is saying you don't care. Stop thinking that you saying no is saying you're not important. No doesn't mean any of those things. It can also mean I don't have enough energy. I'm not ready to go out. I don't feel my best. Or it can simply mean no. If this episode helps you protect your energy today, share with someone who needs to hear this too, because healing energy, light multiplies when shared. Thank you so much for listening today on Serenity Podcast. Remember, I'm always rooting for you. And don't forget, your energy is your currency. Manage it like you manage your money and your time and make a difference. See you soon.